Hey everyone, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. In this video, I'm going to be going over the theater in Mechanicus and just kind of giving my thoughts about it and kind of giving you like a small guide really and just showing you kind of how I played it or how I've been playing it. So let's get right into it. So you talk to Region after you do some of the story missions to get here and then play around. And this is just like a normal tower defense game. Genshin Impact's version is really fun. This is a really good event, and hopefully they bring this back either in the future or just as a normal minigame in the game because it's extremely fun. Of course, there's the normal towers that you get, all the elements with the elemental reactions. You get these points up here, the Mechanicus sigil, and you use these to actually level up the towers. And each tower has a different effect once you get to level 3 and level 5. I'm not sure if they'll get any more after that. Probably just, attack increase. But I'll kind of go over this. More or less a close range one. Of course, it applies hydro, fire, and so on and so forth with each one. This is kind of more like a catapult, more of a siege. So this is really good for, far back. This is really good for up close and like narrow passageways if there is none, depending on the map. This is good at knocking enemies back. I still haven't used this effectively, so I'm not too sure if this could knock back the bigger enemies. If anybody could tell me that in the comments, that'd be great. I'm going to test this out more in the future. And this is kind of more like a single fire target until the higher levels. And on the ice one, it's kind of like a minigun, more or less. It has the highest attack speed, so it shoots pretty fast. I wouldn't say like a machine gun or anything like that, but it shoots a lot faster than the rest of them. And of course, each one has a different effect that you can see whenever you come into the armory. And of course, these new ones that come out here in the future, seems like the map maybe get pretty big because there's like portals and stuff like that. So we'll see that in the future, but kind of just go over the basics really. So yeah, once you understand what each of the tower does, and it'll greatly make it easier for you. You can do matchmaking. Matchmaking is amazing. It's actually really fun with 2 people. This is probably the way I would recommend doing it, honestly, because some of the maps get, I think the third map, it's kind of big, so having 2 people would actually benefit you a lot, and you'll get a lot more points, I believe. So here, we're gonna start this, and I'm just kind of gonna go over some of the team compositions I think that would be good here. Of course, Ganyu would be good. Her bloom could put ice on all the enemies. Jean will be good for the smaller enemies to throw them into holes if the map has a hole in it. Venti's good for CC, crowd control, throw them up in the air. Same thing as Jean, she could do the same thing. Zhongli is good at breaking the shields, just as in the open world. And then he's also good at putting the pillar in front of enemies. It's not as effective as the Traveler, the Geo Traveler, which is where is the Geo Traveler? Oh, right here. It's not efficient as a Geo Traveler putting the 2 balls because that could actually block them for a pretty good amount of time. But don't rely on it too much because they can walk around it. Eventually, they'll try to walk around it unless you have a really good like narrow passageway you can block off. Diluc would be good at breaking shields. Definitely the shields that you need to use fire with, like the wooden ones. Ningguang would be good as well. I mean, most of these characters would be good, just understanding elemental reactions and how you're going to actually build the towers. Majority of these characters would be good, so don't worry. You don't need all like these 5 stars to actually do like really good. They just make it a little easier, more or less. So yeah, now that we got that, we're gonna go in, and I think it randomly picks the map. I don't think you get to choose the map. I think it just kind of goes between them because last time it gave me the level 2 map or the second map. This is the third map. This one's a lot harder. This one I would recommend having a friend with, just because it's hard to go back and forth between the 2. I think it might be better just to build up here first and then kind of build inwards more than building out there. But it is kind of dangerous to just build out here. So I'm going to try it though. I'm going to build here. Okay. I'm more worried about the left side because the left side seems a little bit more difficult than the right for some reason, at least that in my opinion. So I tend to build the siege, the fire one further back than the others, so the siege one will be in the back, while I tend to put the water either trying to like center it so we could hit a decent area, and then the electric and ice around the water tower. Okay, so that didn't go as bad as I thought right there. Okay. So yeah, for this one, I would definitely recommend building in the back first before building up front. Remember, you can melee the enemies. Yeah, you can melee them and like use your abilities to pretty much CC them, crowd control them, and it definitely makes it a lot easier. Oh, he did get through. See, there's a reason why it's a little hard, because it's kind of hard to focus on both ends on this particular map. So having a friend would definitely make this a lot easier. Or just going matchmaking in general. You don't need a friend. You can just randomly find a game. I really hate these fast ones. And yeah, so just understanding the basics of the towers and really what they do really helps a lot. Also, the one that gives points is really good too, if you really need points. So I normally build these in the first 2 rounds normally. I'm trying something different this one, but normally I would build the recovery points in the first 2 rounds, and once you start stacking tons of points, you can actually delete them, and then from there, you could just, you know, put just main defense towers, just the ones that you do need. I'm gonna do. But again, this is play however you like, and you try to figure out different strategies and stuff like that. Each wave, once it finishes, it tells you what the next coming wave is. So if you want one specific tower, then you can actually build that for that specific tower. It also depends on the Mystic Art. So whatever you choose, you might want to focus on that specific tower as well. So again, remember, you can destroy the towers and build more. And then there's these fearless challenges that make it a lot more difficult, but then you get a ton more points at the end. So I recommend just trying these pretty much every time. When there's 2 people, you can actually pick 2 different ones, so it helps greatly. So that's why I highly recommend having 2 people, just because you can actually pick 2 of those. So somebody could pick the fearless, and then somebody could boost one of the other towers, so say like Electro or stuff like that, and it greatly helps. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's really anything else to go for. Again, just remember the blue one is more close quarters. This is kind of like single fire almost until you start leveling up and it starts arcing to multiple enemies. The ice, again, it's kind of minigun. It shoots the fastest. I can't remember. I think the level 5, it blows up and it freezes all the enemies. Like it puts the cryo effect on them. But here, we'll do one more wave together. And then here, this is like one reason why Ganyu is really good. You could do that, and bam, look, all of them got infected by cryo. You know, I could do it over here as well. And now, of course, you have to do it within the tower range, or the cryo wears off, just like anything else. See, this might be an issue. So here's a good example of the Eve. You can do that. Right. And try to your much as to CC him. Don't be afraid to try to melee. Quake. Yeah, don't be afraid to melee him, or you know, even though it doesn't do any damage, you could proc the kind of like the stagger on the enemies. So you definitely want to do that. Yeah. Again, this map is a little hard because you do have to run back and forth a lot, so this one is definitely a lot of managing. It tends to be a little harder, but once you get later and you start getting more points, it definitely gets a lot easier. Because now, like this, I could put the water here, and I normally put the water ice is really good at so water ice is really good at the start of the stage. So say if you have a really good choke point, it's really good at the beginning and having fire in the back because you could freeze them and hopefully keep them consistently frozen. And then the fire, I don't have any. I could do that one. So what I was saying, the fire could keep sniping them from the back. So that's why I prefer you to have the fire not close range, but as like far back compared to the other ones because they do have a larger range. But again, try to figure your own method out. Try to figure things out and just enjoy it because it's extremely fun. I would recommend anybody to try this. Yeah, hopefully MiHoYo keeps this in the game. But that should be it, guys. I just kind of wanted to show you that. I don't really want to make this like a 20-minute video, unfortunately. So we're just going to cut it here. Hopefully, maybe some of the tips has helped you. I really do enjoy this. Hopefully you guys did enjoy watching the video. Thanks again for watching. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thank you.